Live from Waterford and Dungarvan, this is Waterford at 1 News.
Good afternoon, I'm Karen Tomkins. Today's top stories. The funeral has taken place of siblings Carla, Dara and Conor McGinley in Dublin. The UK's 47-year membership of the EU will be over in just under 10 hours' time. 2 patients in England are receiving specialist care after becoming the first in the UK to test positive for the coronavirus. And in sport, Ireland have held their captain's run ahead of tomorrow's Six Nations showdown with Scotland. The father of Carla, Dara and Conor McGinley says the family will be forever heartbroken following their deaths. A Mass of the Angels took place in Rathcoole for the siblings, aged 3, 7 and 9, who were murdered in their home in Dublin last Friday. Stephen Murphy reports.
There was a silence around Rathcoole this morning as the hearse carrying the bodies of Carla, Dara and Conor McGinley arrived at the Church of the Holy Family.
When Ireland would lose a match, I used to say I was heartbroken. I now know what that really means. Conor, Dara, Carla, I love you.
The children's father, Andrew McGinley, who discovered their bodies at their home in Parsons Court in Newcastle last Friday, thanked Lego, Marvel and Frozen for the joy they brought his children.
Carla, my love, I had really hoped that we would be finally building that snowman this year. I am so sorry. Thank you to whoever invented trampolines. You will never know the fun and enjoyment ours has brought Conor, Dara and Carla.
Co-parish priest Father Kevin Doherty said a shroud of darkness had descended on the community.
Coming together to cry, to hug, to laugh, to remember, that is a light in the darkness.
During the service, members of Rathcoole Boys Football Club, which Conor and Dara were involved in, and School Cronan, where they attended, hugged, cried and remembered the lives of what Andrew McGinley called his wonderful children. Stephen Murphy in Rathcoole.
The UK's 47-year membership of the EU will be over in just under 10 hours' time. Brexit will happen at 11 o'clock tonight and an 11-month transition period will then begin. Sean O'Regan reports.
It's been 1,316 days since the British public voted to leave the European Union. The man who unintentionally set the UK on the path towards Brexit, David Cameron, has confidence that things will work out well.
We're one of the biggest economies in the world. We can make a success of the choice that we make, and I'm sure that's exactly what we will do.
The European Commission President says Brexit has taught the EU some valuable lessons about unity. Ursula von der Leyen says she's proud of how the 27 member states looked out for one another, and especially for Ireland.
We made the experience how strong we are in defending our values, our interests, but also protecting our member state, Ireland.
Taoiseach Leo Varadkar says he'll always welcome Britain back.
We'll say goodbye to an old friend. We do hope it works out for them. But if it does not, there will always be a seat for the United Kingdom at the European table.
Britain formally departs the bloc this evening before entering an 11-month transition period. That means the UK will continue following EU rules while a trade deal is negotiated. So, after more than 3.5 years of deadlock, dither and delay, at 11 o'clock tonight, Brexit will finally be done.
2 patients in England are receiving specialist NHS care after becoming the first in the UK to test positive for the coronavirus. They're both from the same family and are being treated at a unit in Newcastle. England's Chief Medical Officer, Professor Chris Whitty, says people should not be unduly worried.
It could well turn out to be a relatively minor disease because we know that there is a 2% mortality rate, 2% of people die. But what that means is 98% of people get better, and a lot of people will end up with relatively minor disease.
The Fianna Fáil leader has been canvassing in Dublin today. Micheál Martin started the day playing basketball in a school. He met Linda Coogan from Rathfarmon, who says she's a lifelong Fine Gael supporter, but she's not impressed with the leadership of the party anymore.
To be quite honest with you, I've been Fine Gael all my life, and I know you're Fianna Fáil. Yeah. But Leo Varadkar has a smarmy git, and he's just so condescending, especially to the younger people and the younger generation, that I'm actually turning towards Fianna Fáil. And I particularly like you. I do like you. So I would vote for you.
Health, education and the economy dominated the first of the general election debates to be held in Waterford. 10 candidates participated in the Waterford News and Stars big debate at the WIT Arena last night. And Fine Gael's John Cummins says his party has done more to progress the North Quays here than any other.
We're the party that designated it as an SDZ in order to bring planning certainty. We're the party that put it in Project Ireland 2040. We're the party that has it in the National Development Plan. We're the party that have it in our National Manifesto. And we're also the party that had the Taoiseach in Waterford clearly committing that Fine Gael in government will deliver 110 million, not 104 million, in order to facilitate the infrastructure funding.
While Ainsu's Ronan Cleary had this to say about pensions.
I believe actually raising the pension age is morally wrong, it is ethically wrong, and it's repugnant for people that have worked hard all their lives and paid their taxes. We have a number of corporations in this country who don't pay their taxes. There are a number of huge corporate entities that get away with this so-called double Irish, where they pay a minimal amount of tax, yet it is always the working man and woman that gets it in the neck.
And with just days left for the Waterford candidates to canvass for votes in the general election, WLR's Emer McKeown joined independent candidate Bernadette Phillips on the campaign trail in Tramore.
Health is a big concern for the residents of Peter's Place and St Peter's Terrace in Tramore. The mostly older population all had their own stories to tell about ill health and the lack of access to services in Waterford. This woman told Bernadette Phillips that her brother had to travel to Cork for emergency cardiac care.
My brother also had the same problem.
Okay.
Sunday morning went in with a heart complaint.
Yeah.
Went in on his own, so of course none of us even knew. And was transported to Cork. He said the longest journey of his life.
Of course.
The longest journey of his life, he said. And then to be up in Cork.
Yeah.
And of course, we used to have to get buses up and down.
Exactly.
And he was up there for 4 months.
Oh my goodness me.
And we were up and down the road all the time.
Oh my goodness me,
so it's crazy. And I mean, there's so many lives being lost.
Well, that's the tragedy. How is he now? How's your brother?
He's good. Now, you know, ended up with pneumonia and all that then as well.
Yeah.
But he won't be the same as he was.
Sure,
of course.
But what you're highlighting are the key issues. I mean, you know, they're talking about this 8 to 8 and all the rest of it. It just won't cut it.
No.
There's a perfectly good cath lab with perfectly good equipment.
Yes.
And it cannot be accessed.
And nobody there.
A complete injustice.
You know, it's ridiculous.
So somebody has to take that horrendous journey down to Cork.
Yeah.
I'm calling this out once and for all.
Yeah.
I'm not accepting anything less than 24/7. And that's what I'm telling people, you know, and all of the issues, the other issues that come in behind where people's lives are.
Yes, definitely.
You know, it's a reality-based campaign that I'm running, and that's the road I'm on, and that's the road I'll stay on.
And stay on it because it needs to be done. I mean, we've all gone out and we've all marched. They don't take a blind bit of notice of us, do they?
Yeah, we've marched.
They haven't done anything.
Thousands for years now.
For years.
Pensions were also raised on the doors. This man has an issue with the age retired politicians can claim their pensions, while workers will have to wait until 67 to receive the state pension.
It's going to be a primary thing could bring down the government is the pensions.
Oh yeah, I'm calling it out a very long time for the absolute injustice it is to our older people.
But
outrageous.
It's frightening the pensions they get, and they're not 65.
That's right.
Some of them now have 4 pensions. I tell you, there can be a pension for being a TD, pension for being a minister, pension for getting into Europe.
People are crying on the door to me.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the thing. People's lives, they're so upset and they don't know where to go. And what I'm saying is, I'm coming from the ground up. I'm coming from reality's place. I'm coming from where the issues are. Your issues are my issues. And I'm standing forward in this because I can no longer look at the inequalities and the injustices that I'm seeing that are happening ordinary people in this country. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, those that are in won't be getting my vote, you know.
Bernadette Phillips told this woman why she's entered the race.
I'm in my 60s now, so I've decided, look, we can't just stand by anymore and allow to continue what's been happening to people.
Absolutely.
So that would be really paramount.
WLR Sport.
And a very good afternoon, I'm Gavin. Whelan. Starting with rugby, and Ireland have held their captain's run ahead of tomorrow's Six Nations showdown with Scotland at Lansdowne Road. Caelan Doris will make his first start in green in the number 8 jersey. CJ Stander has moved to the blind side. He's backed Doris to shine after speaking to the Leinster forward's father.
I actually met his dad in Sprout 7 months ago, and he told me his son's coming through, and we were joking. I was joking about it. He's going to take my spot. So I said to him then, just make sure what he does, he enjoys it, and he trains harder than anyone else. And again, if I talk to him before the game, just go out there and do what got him here and enjoy it, because it's Six Nations and it's special.
Ireland's under-20s get their Six Nations campaign underway this evening. Waterford's Thomas Ahern is included in Noel McNamara's side to face Scotland at Irish Independent Park from 7:15. In Gaelic games, Waterford hurlers and footballers both return to Allianz League action this weekend. Waterford will head to Westmeath on Sunday to try and build on their exciting victory over Cork last weekend in Division 1A of the Hurling League. That one throws in at 2 at Cusack Park. Mullingar will be live on WLR. Thanks to George Corbett, Skoda, Kieran O'Connor and Michael Ryan, the former Waterford and Westmeath manager, your commentators for that one. Waterford footballers will be hoping to reignite their Division 4 campaign when they travel to Ockram for a round 2 clash against Wicklow. Throw in for that one is also at 2. In tennis, Austria's Dominic Thiem is into the Australian Open men's singles final. 5th seed Thiem has beaten Germany's Alexander Zverev 3-6, 6-4, 7-6, 7-6 in Melbourne to reach Sunday's decider. He'll bid for a first Grand Slam against Serb Novak Djokovic. In golf, Ireland's Graham McDowell carded a solid 68 on day 2 of the Saudi International. He lies in 3rd place on 8 under. Victor Perez of France leads in 10 under par. Shane Lowry is 4 under par, following a 67. In soccer, on January transfer deadline day, Aidan McGeady has joined Championship side Charlton Athletic on loan from Sunderland. Arsenal have also made a loan deal picking up defender Cedric Suarez from Southampton. The window closes at 11 p.m. Cross Channel tonight in the Sky Bet Championship, Cardiff City face Reading. A win for the Bluebirds would see them go 9th in the table and just 2 points from the promotion playoff places. Kick-off there is at 7:45. At the same time, Derby County host fellow strugglers Stoke City. Today's racing action comes from Dundalk. The first is off at 5 this evening. And in athletics, the countdown is on to the 29th annual John Tracy Dungarvan 10-mile road race, which takes place on Sunday afternoon, kicking off at 1:30 on the Youghal Road. PRO with West Waterford AC is James Veal, who says this particular race has gained huge momentum over the years.
Yeah, it's grown over the years, and when we opened the entries for this event on the 1st of November, it was sold out practically in a couple of hours, and then we opened the waiting list for anybody that might along pick up a number on the way for people dropping out and stuff, and there was within an hour there was over 1,000 names on that. So that's how big the event is. It's without a shadow of a doubt, it's the biggest 10-mile road that's in the country now.
That's the latest on WLR. More at 2.